And we'll start with a prayer. Lord, please bless this meeting tonight. And I would like to ask a special blessing on the Mission City Council and staff this Thanksgiving for all that they do for our city. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. And before we say the pledge, I do wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving, and I appreciate you being here. I know your time is very precious, and I don't mean to take you away from your families. So, shall we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call roll.
Appletop.
Here.
Garrity.
Here.
Gibbs.
Here.
Inman.
Here.
Crane.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Rothrock.
Here.
Schlossmacher.
Here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martha. Well, tonight's agenda, we have only one item on the agenda and one and only item we can talk about. Like I said, I wouldn't have called this if I didn't think it was necessary for safety's sake, but I do hate to get you away from your families. Things have changed a little bit. I got a bid a week and a half ago, and it was for about $8,500, and that was to replace certain parts, the most dangerous parts of the sidewalk that had dropped maybe 3 or 4 inches. Now we got another bid, and it was Laura, John, and Brent's idea. It was a good one to get it done right. Would be making it ADA accessible, and that means the price went up. It's about twice the amount of sidewalk. It's all bad. It's just the parts I had bid were the worst. And I drove around the city, and if somebody can show me a worse place in the city, I'll go look at it, because this is a really bad sidewalk right by a park, right by a school. I think it does need to be fixed, and that's why I wanted to bring it to your guys' consideration to see what you thought. I think some of you walked it. I have seen this. I know Nick has too when he was campaigning, and I kept meaning to bring it up, and I don't walk that much, so I apologize. It's just so late. I just didn't want to go through winter with it like this. But one of the things about waiting until spring, I want to bring up everything. We basically only had one bid, because and it's not a bad price. It's about the same as the price I got. It's just a lot more stuff. We would have more bidders in the spring. I don't know what any other advantage there is, but unless we waited for summer and then no school. But
you may be able, if you did more sidewalk than just this, you may be able to have some
maybe get a
additional
better price.
savings just from economies.
That's what Debbie and I was talking about. Get a better price. Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah. There we go.
Is the street there, 53rd Street, is that one of the streets that is coming up for a mill and overlay? When we do that, and I'm assuming they've done the core testing on that street, and did it test good enough to do that, or is it going to have full depth construction? And if it is going to be mill and overlay, then aren't we talking about doing the ADA sidewalks at the same time we do that?
So up to this point, we have done sidewalk repair and reconstruction when we do a mill and overlay project. That reconstruction of the street triggers the ADA requirements. What we had talked about for the last couple of years was we have enough sidewalk that's either missing in sections or in poor enough condition that we wanted to think about having a standalone sidewalk replacement program. Also because we were deferring so many of the mill and overlay streets because the core sampling was sort of pushing them off to the side. Right. So rather than have that be our only vehicle to touch the sidewalks, we were looking at this sidewalk program. So you may remember that we added the sidewalk condition rating inventory to the Stantec analysis that we authorized earlier this year. For that reason, we have an older, I think, inventory that Trans Systems has done that mapped where the sidewalks exist. So that's easy to see on that, where we have sidewalks, where there are gaps. But we didn't have sort of that condition rating. So we don't know settlement, we don't know spalling, we don't know cracks, all of those kinds of things. So that's what this Stantec inventory would add to the puzzle, so that we could then come back and present the sidewalk program in a different way. So I don't know specifically the mill and overlay for 53rd Street, because it just got HIP seal treatment recently, is going to be further out. But that wouldn't necessarily, if we look at putting together this more comprehensive sidewalk program, mean that we couldn't come back and touch this as a high priority, because of it's not only its condition, but also because of its proximity to the school and the park. And we do have, I don't have the sidewalk piece back from Stantec. We just received the street data in an Excel spreadsheet last week and haven't even started kind of unpacking that. So I would imagine that we would have the Stantec condition rating very soon.
All right.
I know there's a lot of questions, Debbie.
Well, it would, I mean, we don't have it, so we don't have it, but it would have been nice maybe if we could have even called to see if we had basic specs or a draft proposal on the sidewalk conditions before we're kind of moving to spend money that we, I'm not saying that sidewalk doesn't merit it, it really did. I mean, you could walk on it and trip. But it would be nice to have validating information in a report form that supported it, I think, without looking at one particular area geographically. When we, I'm not saying there are other sidewalks that aren't as bad as that. I'm just saying we had the report in hand. It would be very helpful, and if it's due in a week, I wish we would have sought to get that information, because that's kind of important to support the $30,000 expenditure. That's just agreed.
Yeah, I don't know that there's worse parts of the sidewalk, and it is pretty bad over there, but there are some other really bad parts of the sidewalk throughout the city. I think if we're going to spend this kind of money, there's the economies of scale of doing more of it at once. And I think we really need to look at that, get some of that Stantec data back, and see where we can start putting a plan together to address the sidewalks. I want to fix them, but I can tell you, even across from our house, or right by where Marcy lives, we have a neighbor that has a newborn baby. I see her every day because we have to leave a lot of times around the same time that she's out there. And there's a section of sidewalk that's completely sunk in where there's a water main pipe there. And she struggles every day to push the stroller around that. There's other areas that need to be addressed as well, and I think if we're going to look at this, we really should put a plan together and address some of those.
I agree. There's stuff all over the city. I haven't seen anything worse than this right here. And just because we get this fixed doesn't mean next spring we can't get something else fixed too.
I guess I have a question. So why was it so necessary to have this meeting tonight? Could we not have taken it to the CDC meeting and just taken it? Well, but that's only 2 weeks away.
This time of year is...
Well, but I haven't. You know, when things are rushed through like this, Steve, when you first talked to me about it, I thought it was a small, inexpensive.
Well,
and so then when I saw this, I'm like, you know what? There are other places. I'm with Nick. I've seen some, and I have also seen the curbs and gutters. And when I was campaigning, the kids can't ride their bikes in the streets either. People can't walk in them. So I think we need an inventory of the sidewalks. I just feel like if we're going to do one, we need to have an inventory of the sidewalks and do it the right way.
That's fair enough. You know, like I say, I saw the need. I thought I'd bring it, and I hated to get an extra meeting for this, a special meeting. I know people have a lot going on, but I thought it was important. So.
Well, I think about even the little girl that presented that idea about Highlands. I mean, they can't even walk from back behind Highlands to Highlands School. We've never done anything about that, and to me, that's just as dangerous. So, you know.
We're talking about the amount of people. Now, well, Kristen, when you walked, how many people did you see with strollers and walking dogs? And I mean, they're up and down that street constant. So, you know, that's why that one's so important.
But these are kids going to school as well. That we're going, you know.
But there's no doubt at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
It is definitely bad, but I do agree with the economy of scale comment. I mean, I just think if you put a plan together to do, and I don't know how many feet you're talking about there for 30,000, but if that was 50 feet, then I would think you could do 250 feet of sidewalk around the city by a contractor and get it for a lot less per foot or,
Maybe, it's not a bad price, especially for this time of year, but no, it's about 400 feet, close, 350. So quite a bit, and a lot of, about 5 ramps, and if we don't do anything else, I mean, I would like to get this done, but I understand everybody's concern. We at least have to get some stuff fixed over in the park before we, because I guarantee you, one lawsuit, you will wish you had done something. But at least in the park, there's a couple little places I think we can fix ourselves, can't we, Laura?
Maybe.
I mean, it's a small area, but at least we get by until we get it fixed properly.
trail?
No, right by your driveway, there's a big hole where everybody walks in the sidewalk.
I think
Take
that's
a
the
look at it
residents.
tonight.
Yeah, it might be the residents.
Yeah.
Now, he probably, you know,
We can look at that.
sledgehammer or something.
One thing I would ask, that whether this goes through or doesn't go through, is if we look to the spring and we look at a larger inventory, we have a report back with the data, and we look at possibly other areas, there's not a reason in the world we couldn't communicate to the public. We appreciate you working with us. We know this is a problem.
It's true.
In the winter, you're not going to be walking as much as it's the spring.
It's true.
But if snow covers it, we ask for your patience in trying to garner support to save the taxpayers' money. And we're trying to look at additional ones to do that. And we ask for your patience. We understand it's been there a while, and we do need to look at it. And we have that on our radar screen, but we ask for your patience in trying to save some money.
Yeah, well, like I said, I agree with that, but if there's snow on that, I don't think people, if they do walk, because from one edge of that 4 foot to the other edge, in one place it was 4.5 inches
Right.
slope.
I know,
So-
Well, we only had one snow last year.
Well, there we go. That's what I'm voting for. We'll vote for no snow.
Oh,
Susan.
yeah.
I can't show
Any
that.
accidents reported on that sidewalk
I don't
that people have reported?
I don't believe so.
Probably
Not in the
reported.
last-
I've witnessed a few, but.
Not in my tenure here, anyway.
I agree with that.
Any more comments or questions?
Yes, can I make a comment?
Pardon me?
Can I make a comment?
I don't know.
Yes, you may.
Okay, good. I'm in Shellnut, Missouri. There are no sidewalks anywhere down here. And people are walking on the side of the road, and it's dangerous. But that little piece of sidewalk is ugly. Baby strollers can dump kids into the street. And I'd say fix it, pay for it. And then that can be an exemplary little strip that the rest of the city our occupants can look at. That's all I have to say. But no sidewalks in Shellnut.
Thanks, Tom.
Now, and he makes a good point too. I mean, I don't know how much difference it would make on the scale. You know, if it was 20% cheaper, we're not talking about that much money, and you put out a good clean sidewalk here by the school where it gets seen by a lot of people and stuff. People know that we're taking action and we're doing stuff, so it's going to have to be done eventually anyway. We know that. I kind of agree with Tom. Let's do it. Get it done. Get it done.
There you go. Yes, Ron.
If this issue comes to a vote, I will be opposing it. I'm not opposed to fixing our infrastructure, or am I opposed to fixing our sidewalks. We didn't follow our committee process, we skipped it. This is a last-minute rush job on trying to get this through. We only have one bid. We do have data coming on sidewalks soon, so that we can do a proper sidewalk, comprehensive sidewalk program to figure out which one should be addressed first. I think if we wait, we'll get more bids, we'll get better bids, and we can do this right.
Good.
I always hate when my washing machine goes out, but I gotta fix it. But, yeah. Any other questions? Comments? Well, I would entertain a motion.
You have a motion?
Did you make the motion?
Okay, Mayor, I move the city council approve a resolution authorizing the mayor, that would be yourself, to enter into a contract with McEnany Construction Incorporated for the repair and replacement of sidewalk on the south side of 53rd Street in the general vicinity of Woodson and Outlook in an amount not to exceed $30,865.
Second.
Can we still comment?
Sure.
Yes.
If it's approved, it doesn't look good. If it's not approved, it doesn't look good. We want what's in the best interest of the citizens.
Right. Everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody on
does.
this council does.
There is no
So-
denying that that street needs
Yes.
to be fixed, that sidewalk needs to be
Hey.
fixed. But, we may even consider, if it doesn't go, putting a barrier up or something, or some acknowledgement, a temporary sign, and however the hell that gets us notoriety, saying that, we are working on this, it's in a plan, but the plan has not gone through yet, we don't have the data back, and I know people don't like to hear data, but it's kind of a supporting vehicle for spending money, and I just kind of think we need to look in that direction when we get that back.
So am I hearing then, the people that won't go for it, that in spring, I mean, we're not just pushing this aside for a couple of years, that we won't get this fixed, that
It needs to be fixed.
it needs to
It needs to be
fixed.
fixed, there's no doubt.
Right.
There's other, and again, I'm not trying to say that it's not the worst in the city, it very well could be the worst in the city, it's bad, I went by it again today. I know there are also other places that are pretty bad, and I'm hoping that we get the results from this Stantec study, that we can maybe try to put some of the really bad places together in the same bid,
Right.
and knock it all out, and hopefully get some savings there. I don't think it's something that we should wait 2 or 3 or 4 years on. It's something that needs to be addressed. I think with only getting one bid, it feels like we kind of really rushed this one through. I think we're better off going through the process, identifying where we really have these problems, and trying to address it all in a more comprehensive way.
I don't like one bit either, Nick. I mean, I really don't. It's a pretty darn good price, but I don't like just getting one bid either. I mean, I definitely would like to get this done, and I think it needs to be done.
So if we don't pass this, then when is the next time it can come up? Are we waiting for how long?
For next spring before they can pour concrete.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, ideally, you would want to wait
Pour it in the winter time.
to get your best prices. You would want to wait so that they aren't having to take special precautions and blanket and do a variety of different things. So you're going to want to wait till the temperatures allow for that, because you're probably looking at some additional cost if you don't do that. But I think we could, as I said, I think we will certainly have the Stantec inventory back and can bring that
Before December?
before our December committee meeting. We may be pushing it to actually provide you with any meaningful analysis
That's all I was
on
asking.
that, but I think
Because that
by
would be,
January or February, we
for sure,
absolutely
the
could.
last opportunity
Right.
to try and do it, before the winter time. And if we can't do it by then it'll definitely have to wait till spring. So that's what I'm asking.
I would really like to see us communicate that to the public, though. Why would we be waiting? We know there's these things out there, and we are conscientious about keeping people safe during all times of the year, but we are looking at a report that supports these findings, and we'll move forward. We'd like to help.
How about a budget item, Laura? Is it budgeted for this year? Is it budgeted for next year?
It is not budgeted for this year, and I will go pull the CIP. I think we have a kind of placeholder in there. We've had a placeholder in the 5-year CIP for several years for kind of that sidewalk additional program. So I'll look up that number before I leave here tonight and send that back out to everyone. So I do believe that the capacity to consider that exists within the 2018 CIP in your street program.
Thank you.
That sounds good, Debbie. I mean, but I think most people are going to think if it's broke, fix it. That's what, So, and to put barriers up, I don't think is going to work.
Yeah, I don't know about the barriers either.
That's not going to.
I think, if you go by, you can see this, it's in bad condition, right? But it also didn't just get in bad condition last month. And I think that's a big part of earlier this year why I was at least a little bit optimistic to see this Stantec study come through and start putting those wheels in motion on getting some of these sidewalk conditions and looking at where we can really start to put a plan together, like we've done with streets, to start to improve that. And possibly even look at maybe some streets that don't have a sidewalk that we could look to have one someday. But the first step is going to be finding the worst places along the paths of sidewalk where a city addresses those. I'm hoping this study can give us some of that good data to consider.
So this area being located directly across the street from me and affecting all those kids that walk right through my car. No, but right down by my house, specifically, and all the people, there are a lot of people that come walking their dogs with baby carriages and everything else. I am going to vote for it, but I certainly understand everybody's position who's expressed any kind of desire to put it off and hold off. So
I understand also. I mean, I guess, me, when I see something that needs fixing, why not fix it? We have the money in the bank. It didn't go through the right process. Yes, I should have mentioned it before this. You know, like I said, Nick, you said you saw it 2 years ago. I did too, you know, and why I kept forgetting, I don't know.
It shouldn't just be up to you to have to mention that. I think we kind of, as a group, did put some of those wheels in motion earlier this year by agreeing to get those condition reports and all that stuff so that we can start to put a better comprehensive plan together to look at this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think if we go through and we're just picking out spots one at a time, it's not a very effective way to...
No, it's not. It's getting that liability away from the city, I think. It's like when you have a dead tree in your yard and it falls on your neighbor.
Now he's really hitting close to home. I have a big dead tree in my front yard that I got to deal with.
You know, you're held liable for it because, you know, and if you have a sidewalk that has that type of decline, you're held liable for it.
But we also have, at the national level, we have some walkable communities. There's a website. I think we could also look at a potential grant.
Yeah, that was another thing that's been in the back of my mind. We just got back from
that'd be great.
From that conference, and there's a lot of that stuff discussed there. There's a lot of grant money out there for some of these kind of projects. But it's something that needs to be addressed. I don't think I can't speak for everyone else, but I know it's something that needs to be addressed. I just don't know that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and I don't mean to, and I hope it doesn't sound like I am. I do respect everybody's opinion, so that's for sure. And I know we have a motion on the floor. Is there any more comments?
Yeah, we have a motion.
Motion second.
So, I agree. I would love to wait for the data, and I think that it is rushed and out of process. Usually, when I go and pick Anastasia up from school, I don't pick her up from the front, I pick her up right off 53rd. So I do see all the kids running through and how terrible it is, and how many different people it impacts just walking or driving. And so I would usually say I would support it just because it was out of process and rushed, but I feel like it is important, and if we are getting back the inventory soon and we're going to look at all of the other areas, and we have the opportunity to take care of this one right now, I would be in support of it.
Anyone else before we vote?
You have $75,000 in the street program in the CIP for 2018 set aside for sort of miscellaneous, it's identified as sidewalk and or traffic safety, so you've got $75,000 a year for each of the next 5 years at least identified in that way in your budget.
And just a question, is there anything left in 17?
I think yes, because you budgeted it in, you would have budgeted in that general category in 17.
So we have money left over, $30,000.
In the street program or general fund are you referring to?
This would be in your street program. We haven't.
We have not spent in 17. We've got $30,000 left that we need to spend this year.
So you could spend this year. Yeah.
That's all. It's all how you phrase it. You know, and phrase it how you like. I will phrase it like I like.
I think we did.
So we have the money not only in the bank, but we have the money budgeted for it.
Yes, you had money budgeted for sidewalk and
Thank you, ask about that.
traffic safety.
Okay, is there any other comments? Please call roll.
Quinn.
Aye.
Rothrock.
Aye.
Crane.
Nay.
Inman.
Nay.
Garrity.
Aye.
Gibbs.
Nay.
Sloshmacher.
Nay.
Appletoft.
Nay.
Motion fails.
Well, that's the only thing we can cover tonight. So, Susie, sorry, I can't ask you to comment on anything. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Everyone in favor, say aye. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks,
Thanks, Tom.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Everything's gone.
See, talk to you tomorrow.
Again, everyone, have a good Thanksgiving, and I'm sorry for getting you here on such short notice. Like I say, I didn't get your here. It was $8,500, and it changed. It changed today. We just got it. So